everyone, I'm Faiza and today I will be talking about the books I will never ever read. To be honest, I never like to say that I will never read a book, but I've been thinking recently and I came to a conclusion that there are some books that I will actually never read. The first few books that I will never read is the Divergent trilogy. I discovered BookTube around the time when Divergent was all the hype, and at that moment I wanted to read every dystopian book out there. I love The Hunger Games, but I actually never bought the Divergent trilogy. There was always another book I bought. Right now I'm actually not that interested in the dystopian world, if that makes sense. I watched the movies, the Divergent movies, and I love that, but I don't particularly feel the need to read the books. The second one is actually a book that I know many people loved. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I've watched the movie, I loved it. Actually, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I have friends who say that The Perks of Being a Wallflower is their favorite book of all time. Because I heard so many people talk about this book and this movie, my expectations were very high. I watched the movie, I enjoyed it, but it was not like my favorite movie or anything. I won't watch it a second time and I don't feel the need to pick up the book and read it. It's not really my thing. I think the younger me would love that book, but right now I'm not in that mood anymore, and I doubt that I will ever be in that mood, if that makes sense. So the next few books will be kind of unexpected to some people, I imagine. The books of John Green. I actually read 2 books of him. The first one being The Fault in Our Stars. Everyone raved about that book. The first half of the book I listened to the audiobook. I didn't like the audiobook as much, so I switched to reading. The second half of the book, I enjoyed it. I did cry at the end, of course. There were a few chapters that I didn't enjoy reading at all. I just wanted to keep going so I could get to the better part of the book. If you ask me if I will ever read it again, no. I read another book of John Green 2 or 3 years ago, I believe, almost 3 years ago. My friend got it for my birthday, Looking for Alaska. I didn't care at all about the characters. This was also a book people raved about. I couldn't relate at all to the characters, so I decided after this book that I will never read another John Green book. It just doesn't do anything for me, you know? I won't pretend to like a book just because other people like it. I just didn't like it. So the next few books I will never read is actually the Iron King series. I read this book, the first book, but I just didn't like it at all. You can't imagine how much I wanted to love this book because the premise of it was so interesting. Fairies and stuff. My expectations were very high for this one as well. It was also one of the first books I bought for myself. So I was very excited to read this book, but when I was reading it, I just kept turning pages and wanted it to finish it as soon as possible. I'm sorry. So those were the books that I will never read in my entire life. They say never. I still say never. That was it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you would be so kind to subscribe, that would be nice as well. Bye!